Oh, that whiskey's hitting me. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca.
I'm Lelia.
And we're the Boozy Booksellers. Woo!
We've been drinking.
We have been drinking. And we are here to bring you our, beach read, summer reads recommendations.
Yeah, beach reads is a loose term. You know, everybody has their own kind of what they want to take to the beach to read.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, it's something light and easy that doesn't, you don't really have to think about between applying sunscreen. And some people who are, pretentious jerks want to take, thick classics to the beach, like Moby Dick, just to show off. But yeah, no, mostly we're going to talk about our beach reads.
All right, on that note, so in the summer, I don't know about you guys, but I like to read a lot of romance. It's fun, it's easy to read, it's quick, you don't have to, think about it too much. And also, romance snobs, GTFO. Ain't nobody got time for that.
There's the door.
There's the door. So my first pick is The Rogue Not Taken by Sarah McLean.
I love puns!
But The Rogue Not Taken is the beginning of her new series, the Scandal and Scoundrel series. This series takes its inspiration from modern day scandals and sort of the celebrity gossip culture that existed both in, I think this is 1830s England, Victorian England, but also in today's era. This one it follows Sophie Talbot, who is the youngest sister in a Kardashian family, who catches her philandering brother-in-law in a somewhat compromising position, and she gets really angry and she sort of attacks him and pushes him into a fish pond. The ensuing scandal sort of is a little too much for Sophie to bear, and so she stows away in someone's carriage, assuming that it will take her back to her London home. But, as luck would have it, it is owned by the handsome and rakish Marquess of Eversley, who is a grade A scoundrel, and it only goes uphill from there. So Sarah McLean, she's super fun, she's super clever, she's very feminist. All of her heroines are really awesome, and all of her heroes have tortured backstories, and it's so good. It's sexy, it's fun, it's great for summer. So, The Rogue Not Taken by Sarah McLean.
My first pick is also a romance novel by one of my favorite romance authors, Nora Roberts. She is so prolific. She's written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books, and millions of people have bought them, and she has so much money. It's ridiculous. She probably has 3 pools. So this is Tears of the Moon, which is actually book 2 in one of her Irish trilogies, and it is fabulous. And it's about a headstrong Irish tomboy who is in love with a moody Irish musician who doesn't know that she exists, and she's like, I'm in love with you, don't you know that? You idiot. And he's like, oh, what? I didn't know. And they say it just like that. That's exactly.
Take a drink every time Lily tries to do an Irish accent. Also, that sounds amazing. But the book, not your accent.
It does. I love this book. So, Tears of the Moon by Nora Roberts. Pick up your copy today and thank me later.
Awesome. Great. Cool. My next pick is a graphic novel, because I feel like graphic novels are really good for the beach, really good for summer, because everyone's busy and they got other stuff going on, so a graphic novel is easy to read. This one is Delilah, Dirk, and the Turkish Lieutenant by Tony Cliff. Say that 10 times fast after you've been drinking whiskey. But it's really fun. It's like if Indiana Jones was a lady in the early 1800s with swords and amazing hair. It's this English lady who's born into the nobility, but she, doesn't want that life. So she becomes this adventurer, sort of traveling the world, looking for adventure and treasure and all sorts of stuff. And she sort of falls into the company of the titular Turkish lieutenant, Mr. Salim, who is a lieutenant in the Sultan's Janissary Corps, but he sort of doesn't really like that life. He wants to go home and drink his tea and be at peace. And so there's this great conflict between these two amazing characters where one is thirsting for adventure and one just wants to go home and drink his tea. And it's fun, it's exciting, there's a lot of swashbuckling, it's good for all ages, like there's nothing really, scandalous or, too graphic in here. And the art is beautiful, like, I lost it. Aha, here's the one. But it's like super beautiful, and the storytelling is really great. And there's actually a second book out, Delilah, Dirk, and the King's Shilling, which is out right now. But yeah, Delilah, Dirk, and the Turkish Lieutenant by Tony Cliff. You should get it. It's great.
My next book is for anyone who wants an existential beach read,
Ooh.
So that you can feel like you're just like a little literary while you're sitting there on the beach. This is The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. You may know him from Cloud Atlas, which you probably saw the movie of, but didn't read the book because 50 pages in you were like, what is happening? And put it down like I did. So, as you can see, this book was so complex that I had to use several color-coded Post-it flags to keep track of all of the things that were happening.
That's commitment.
Yeah, it's multiple perspectives, so every chunk changes perspective, some of which are not human. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit to keep track of, but it also jumps decades ahead each section. So it's like watching a season of One Tree Hill, where 1 second you're in the 90s and everything's cool and the Macarena, and then the next thing you know, it's like homicidal nannies and everyone's in their late 20s and what's happening? The heroine is really, I really liked her a lot. You start from when she's like a teenage girl and she's like, I'm gonna run away and marry a rock star and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, great, good luck with that. And then you see her kind of evolve into an adult human who makes really good choices, and you're like, you're doing all right. It's based in the real world, but it does have elements of fantasy, obviously, and so it's. I thought that it was a lot more accessible than Cloud Atlas, obviously. So I would definitely recommend this as a beach read for anyone that wants something that's got a little meat to it. Yeah, and thing you can just you want to brag about your Post-its to everybody else on the beach like I do. I mean, obviously. My final beach read is
Stand by.
on the table and I can't pick it up. The Clasp by Sloane Crosley. You may know her from her nonfiction. One of her books is called I Was Told There'd Be Cake, which is also my life motto. So her sense of humor is definitely one that speaks to me on a personal level. And this is her first novel, so I was really excited to read it. And her humor definitely carries over into her fiction. It's a comedy of manners, but also really just sort of an episode of Girls if two of them were guys. Because it's kind of just these three adults who don't know how to be adults. They make me look like an adult, and I barely have health insurance. So it's what if one of them got somehow, via some circumstances that are as absurd as you can imagine they might be, inherited an ancient family heirloom that may or may not have been the inspiration for Guy de Maupassant. How'd I do?
Nailed it.
The necklace. So yeah, I'm not saying that the whole story is a retelling of the necklace, but it definitely is a prominent feature of the plot. It's basically just these three idiotic love triangle people rampaging across Europe, destroying pieces of history while they search for this treasure that may or may not exist. But really, the treasure was their friendship the whole time. Spoiler alert.
Friendship.
I'm just kidding. That's not the ending. But it's a really funny read, and it's kind of a cool Italian Job if they were all snarky millennials sort of thing. So I definitely recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. The Clasp by Sloane Crosley, everybody.
Nice. So, remember that time that Lelia made fun of people who sort of take literary existential chunkers to the beach, such as Moby Dick? Well, my last beach read pick for you is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. What?
I'm so disappointed in you.
I'ma sing sea chanties till I die, bitch. Here's the thing about Moby Dick, y'all, is that you should let go of all of the baggage that you have attached to it. If you had to read it in high school, first of all, why did they make you read this in high school? That's a dumb thing. Just let it go. Let it go. Like in Frozen. It's so good, y'all. I did not. I picked this up and I started reading it, and the first 100 pages of Moby Dick is a buddy comedy. Like 100%. Ishmael rolls up to the inn in Nantucket, or like New Bedford, or whatever New England nonsense is happening, and meets Queequeg, the tattooed cannibal Polynesian harpoonist, which might be a little racist. And like, they become BFFs forever. Like, they fight over the bed covers and like make brotherhood pacts. And it's really adorable and wonderful. And it's fascinating to read. Like, except for the, 2 or 3 chapters that's just like, here's 18 species of whales. And I'm like, I skipped those. Whatever. But it's so good. And like, there's no better place to read Moby Dick than at the beach, I think. Also, ironically enough, appropriately enough, my copy of Moby Dick is waterlogged. And I got rained on. Prodigiously. And so Herman Melville would be proud of, I think. Maybe. I don't know. He was a weird dude. You love me. Moby Dick,
We're
Herman
like
Melville.
the 2 best friends in this book bee, just described as names.
Exactly.
Ishmael and Queequeg.
Yeah, perfect. Nailed it. So those are our beach reads, summer read recommendations from the Boozy Booksellers. And yeah, so we would love to hear what you guys read during the summer. Like, do you guys have any books that you like to read at the beach, or, stuff that you're reading this summer? Yeah. Yay! Beach
Oh, we
reads.
don't have your cup to do another cheers to
No!
the end because you finished your drink! Nailed it!
Nailed it! Got there! Ooh, that was a good one.
That was good. Good
was
job.
good.
That was
Nailed
all you.
it.
I just took